On this episode of Abby Normal Garage, we get back on the Shine Master General's junk mail Cub Cadet. Just to recap, on the last episode, we changed the coils, rebuilt the carburetor, put tire tubes in, and replaced the drive belt. Now we're going to dive into the mower deck. Off camera, we did a little cleanup work on this thing, knocking the big chunks of rust off and so forth. Now we're going to try to remove the spindle without breaking the bolts. We were able to get this bolt out.
One bolt out.
However, our luck on the other three wasn't so well. We decided to go ahead and just change all the spindles. They had kits on Amazon that weren't too crazy expensive, so that was probably the better way to go. Well, anyway, let's dive into that. Being we opted to buy all new spindles, we just went ahead and snapped all the bolts off to quickly get those removed. But what we can't just snap off is the screws that hold the belt covers on. We need to preserve the threads and those bolts, so we're going to heat up around them with the torch until it's glowing cherry red, seen here. And then in a variation of Terrell's heat and quench method, we spray it down with penetrating oil, and it zips right out. Now we're going to go ahead and do this for the other two bolts on this cover. This process takes a little bit of time, but it works out pretty good for us. If you deal with rusty bolts all the time, having an oxyacetylene torch is great. And now they zip right out. Isn't that awesome? This belt tensioner pivot was seized up as well, so we're going to go ahead and heat this up and do the same thing here. This has to move because it puts tension on the mower deck belt. Awesome, now that we got that freed up, we do a little bit more cleanup here with the needle scaler before we hit this thing with rust converter. Now we blow all the dust off and all the metal chips. Trying to be pretty methodical with this, any loose paint chips, rust chips, and so forth. And now we hit it with rust converter. That'll stop the rust process. So hopefully it won't get any worse. We went ahead and used 2 coats of this stuff. Works pretty good. It's from Reinstalling. It's called Rust Reformer. Well, we got 2 coats of rust converter on the bottom of this deck. So that's looking pretty good. We're going to let this dry today and go take Abby for a swim, and we'll put this back together tomorrow. Okay, let's bust this mower deck out. We got new spindles. Now we pop back into montage mode for installing the spindles. One thing to note, we did pre-grease these threads on these bolts, so these will never seize up again. So if we ever have to take them out in the future, it won't be a problem. I highly recommend you do that with any mower deck bolts that you're dealing with. Now we grab our trusty DeWalt and zip them in. We follow the same basic process for all 3 spindles, as you can see. This thing went together great. Look at the shine on this deck. I'm sure the shine master will really appreciate that. Alright, now we go ahead and pump some grease into them. We went about 10 pumps. I would assume that they're pre-greased from the factory. And for all I know, they could have sealed bearings in them and not be greasable. That was a thing on some of these brands. Now that everything's greased up, we'll move back into normal mode and replace the noisy idler pulleys. We'll see you there. We're also going to go ahead and change these idler pulleys. They sound great. There we go. Nice. Okay. Okay. All right, and there's also a crack here. Wow, Abby, check out this restored deck. It's hot. We got a rust converter on the bottom of it. We welded up that piece. All new spindles. All new idler pulleys. It looks pretty good. Let's get it installed. Well, Abby, let's do something Abby normal to the folks over at Tennessee Mountain Homestead and get this deck back on. All joking aside, they do a lot of stuff with mud mowers, so it's not uncommon for them to take decks off. If you're into that sort of thing, go ahead and check them out. Pick up this link here. That goes like that. Alright, so after we loosen the front piece up, we got the lift mechanism tied into the deck. Now we got to get this belt back on this spindle. So we're going to go ahead and do that real quick. So in my infinite wisdom, I decided to take this spring off to get this belt on. And, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Awesome. Okay. Let's give this thing a go. A little bit of throttle. A bit of choke. Push the brake pedal. Say let's go out here and cut some grass, but there ain't none. Well, Abby, this thing does pretty good for a piece of junk mail. I think the Shine Master General will have a pretty good time with it if he doesn't go postal over his bill. I don't know how much he's going to use it though. We haven't had any rain all month and it's so dry. But the good thing is, there's rain in the forecast, so that's something to get excited about. And it is here. This is beautiful. Feel free to like the video if you enjoy the content. Share it with any of your friends that might have a piece of junk mail of their own. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And we'll see you on the next episode of Abnormal Garage. Yeet. Okay, we got the blades back on, sharpened. Now we got to repair this piece. Yeah, I felt that.